Can you imagine spending 18 years of your life searching for the only person who showed you love when the whole world turned their back on you? This is the story of Mei Lin, a young Chinese woman who was born with a disability that changed her destiny forever. Let us know in the comments. What would you do to find someone who impacted your life so deeply? In the mountains of Sichuan province, in a small village where traditions weigh more than dreams, Mei Lin was born on a cold March morning in 1995. The first cry that echoed through the room wasn't one of joy, but of her mother's despair upon seeing that her daughter had been born with a malformation in her left leg. In a culture where physical perfection is considered a blessing and disability a curse, Mei Lin's fate seemed sealed from her very first breath. Her father, a farmer with rough hands and a heart hardened by years of poverty, couldn't hide his disappointment. A daughter who won't be able to work the land, who won't find a husband, who will be a burden to the family, he muttered as he walked away from the room. Her mother, weak after giving birth and pressured by the judgmental stares of the village elders, made the most painful decision of her life, to abandon her daughter at the nearest city hospital. But fate had other plans for Mei Lin. At Chengdu Provincial Hospital, a middle-aged nurse named Zhang Wei had just finished her night shift when she heard the persistent crying of a baby in the pediatric ward. With tired but compassionate eyes, she approached the crib where Mei Lin lay, wrapped in a worn blanket with a note that simply read, "I can't take care of her. May God bless her." Zhang Wei, who had lost her own son years earlier in an accident, felt her heart break and heal at the same time. For the next 3 months, this woman with a gentle smile and healing hands became the only mother Mei Lin would ever know. She sang traditional Chinese songs to her during long nights, whispered words of love while changing her bandages, and rocked her with a tenderness that contrasted with the harshness of the outside world. "Little warrior," Zhang Wei would say while stroking her jet-black hair, "you're stronger than the world believes. Your leg doesn't define your worth, your heart does." These words would become the echo that accompanied Mei Lin throughout her entire life, though at that moment she couldn't understand their meaning. The day that changed everything came without warning. Zhang Wei received notification that she had been transferred to another hospital in Beijing, more than 900 miles away. With tears streaming down her cheeks, she gave Mei Lin one last kiss on the forehead and left her a small jade necklace, the only treasure she possessed. "Someday we'll meet again, my little warrior. Never forget that you are loved," she whispered before disappearing from her life forever. Mei Lin was transferred to an orphanage on the outskirts of Chengdu, where she grew up between gray walls and pitying stares. The other children called her the cripple, and the caregivers, though not cruel, never showed the unconditional love that Zhang Wei had given her. But Mei Lin kept the jade necklace as her most precious treasure, and the nurse's words as her inner strength. At age 8, while organizing her few belongings, she found a yellowed paper at the bottom of her memory box. It was part of the medical record that Zhang Wei had secretly saved, with her full name and a partial address. That moment marked the beginning of an obsession that would last a decade and a half, finding the woman who had taught her the meaning of love. For years, Mei Lin worked humble jobs to save money and travel throughout China searching for clues. She cleaned offices at night, sold flowers at train stations, and sewed clothes until the early hours. Her leg hurt terribly after long days on her feet, but her determination was unshakable. Every hospital she visited, every Zhang Wei she found in phone directories, every lead she followed, brought her one step closer to her goal. In 2010, at age 15, she managed to trace that Zhang Wei had indeed worked in Beijing, but had resigned years earlier. Records indicated she had moved south, possibly to Guangzhou. Mei Lin worked for 2 more years to afford the trip, selling everything she had and sleeping in bus stations to save money. The search in Guangzhou was disheartening. She visited more than 20 hospitals, showed the blurry photo she had of Zhang Wei, asked at clinics, pharmacies, and health centers. Some looked at her with compassion, others with impatience, but no one recognized the woman who had changed her life. Every no she heard was like a stab, but Mei Lin refused to give up. In 2013, social media transformed her search. Mei Lin created profiles on all Chinese platforms, posted Zhang Wei's story, shared the few photos she had, and asked for help finding her. Thousands of people shared her story, moved by the dedication of this young woman who wouldn't give up. Every share was new hope, every supportive comment motivated her to continue. Years passed and Mei Lin became a strong and determined woman. She studied nursing through distance learning, inspired by Zhang Wei, and began working in hospitals, always with the secret hope that her professional search would bring her closer to her guardian angel. Her colleagues knew her story and helped her discreetly, asking in their professional circles if anyone knew Zhang Wei. In 2018, when Mei Lin was already 23 and had dedicated 18 years of her life to this search, she received a message that would change everything. An older woman had seen her social media post and recognized the name. Zhang Wei, now 65, was working as a volunteer at a nursing home in Kunming City, in Yunnan province. Mei Lin's heart beat so hard she thought it would burst from her chest. After so much time, so many disappointments, so much pain, she finally had a real lead. Without thinking twice, she requested vacation from work, bought a train ticket, and embarked on the most important journey of her life. The Golden Sunset nursing home was located on a hill overlooking the city. Mei Lin arrived on a Tuesday morning, her hands trembling and the jade necklace clutched in her fist. She asked for Zhang Wei at reception, and the young employee directed her to the back garden. There she was. Mei Lin recognized her immediately, though the years had painted her hair silver and drawn lines of wisdom on her face. Zhang Wei was reading a book to an elderly man who smiled peacefully. Her voice still the same soft melody that Mei Lin remembered in her deepest dreams. "Nurse Zhang Wei," Mei Lin whispered, her voice breaking with emotion. Zhang Wei looked up and for a moment time stood still. Her eyes filled with tears seeing the young woman before her, with the same angelic face she remembered from that baby who had marked her life. "My little warrior," Zhang Wei murmured, slowly standing and extending her arms. Mei Lin ran to her, her leg no longer hurt, it was no longer an obstacle. They embraced in the garden full of cherry blossoms, crying 18 years of separation, healing wounds that had remained open for almost 2 decades. "I never stopped thinking about you," Zhang Wei told her while caressing her face. "All these years I wondered if you were okay, if you were happy, if you would remember that someone loved you from the very first moment." Mei Lin showed her the jade necklace she had kept as a treasure throughout her entire life. "I never forgot you. You taught me that my worth wasn't in my leg, but in my heart. You made me into the woman I am today." That afternoon, sitting on a bench under the shade of a century-old tree, Mei Lin told Zhang Wei about her life. How she had studied nursing, how she helped other children with disabilities, how her story had inspired thousands of people on social media. Zhang Wei listened with pride, understanding that the seed of love she had planted in those 3 months had blossomed into an extraordinary woman. "Do you know what's the most beautiful thing about all this?" Zhang Wei said as the sun began to set. "It's not that you found me after so long. It's that in your search, you became the person I knew you could be. Your leg was never your weakness. Your heart was always your strength." Since that day, Mei Lin visits Zhang Wei every month. They've formed the family that fate denied them when they were younger. Zhang Wei has become the grandmother Mei Lin never had, and Mei Lin the daughter Zhang Wei lost years ago. Mei Lin's story went viral throughout China, inspiring millions of people to never give up on their most important searches. She founded an organization that helps children with disabilities find adoptive families, and her motto is the same one Zhang Wei whispered to her as a baby: "Your heart defines your worth." What did you think of this story of perseverance and unconditional love? Do you have someone special who marked your life and whom you'd like to reunite with? Share your experience in the comments, because we all have a Zhang Wei in our lives who deserves to be remembered and honored.